Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of American in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. And this time I also have a great thing. Teeling 24-year-old vintage reserve from 2016, single cask, bourbon cask number 8390. 162 bottles worldwide, and this was actually bottled for the Whisky Fair, the Rhein Ruhr Whisky Fair here in Germany in 2016. Whiskey base 81062 with 49% ABV. All right, so can you guess the price? Look at that bottle. I've already done actually a Teeling 24-year-old vintage reserve. That was from the normal bottling from Teeling, and this was one of 5,000 bottles with a Sultan finish. This has absolutely no finish. It's not 46, but rather 49%, and it was one single cask. Now, it cost, hold your horses, 280 euros. So $330, maybe a little bit more. Unbelievable. My nose. Wow, I have never had so specific peaches and apricots. If I did not know better, I would say this is a type of peach schnapps. It's so delicate and so specially just this peach. It's really, really nice. Wow, and then a little bit of the malt underlying, a little bit of a charred oak is in there as well, and a lot of the peaches and apricots, as if you're actually just chewing on the skin of an apricot or a peach. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but sometimes you can just eat the peach and then you eat all the flesh, and then you have that the skin left over, and then you really get some nice aroma there. It's not as juicy, and that's what I get. Very, very nice. And the interesting thing is somehow, and I do not know why or how or when, but it actually says lightly peated, and I get it just a whiff of that peat in there. Well done. Hmm. 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 Very nice whiskey, and yet it's wow. It's all over the place. I have some sweetness. I have some bitterness. It's a little bit of a sour, and it's fruity. It's got a tight, a very very a slight tang of smoke peat in there, and yet it's so oily. It like tries to cover as much of the spectrum as possible on that tasting wheel. Mm. And it does it a little bit there, and then it goes 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 there. And one of the things I'd like to criticize, if I may, is actually the finish. It's in your mouth and it's there, but then it's like within a minute it's gone. And a long-lasting whiskey should be, in my opinion, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. I think I've mentioned this before, but I had the Glenfarclas 40-year-old once, and I swear the next morning I still had that flavor profile in my mouth, that old wood note. It was so fantastic. And this doesn't have it. It just kind of dissipates fairly quickly, more than I would expect from a 280 euro whiskey. All right, just going to put a little tiny bit of water in here and see what happens. I'm going to go from my 1, 2, 3, 4 little drops today. And my nose says that it's lighter. It's even more of the apricots. Apricots. It's so fresh. It's almost like a bubbly wine with apricots in there. It's very, very nice. Very, very nice. Mm-hmm. 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 Now, I in my German video, I actually tried the other 24-year-old Teeling. It's a Sultan finish, and what really happens is it's a totally different taste profile. And at the end, this just goes, It just crashes and burns for me. I'm sorry, but I just did not like that. This, on the other hand, actually just goes wee, 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 and the end it goes down a little bit, but just tiny. And there's a lot of things happening. As I already mentioned, it comes in very, very mild and mellow, and then it gets a little sweet, and then it suddenly turns into a little bit of woodiness, and then it turns into a little bit of a bitterness, and then it's a little bit of a sourness, but then there's a little bit of alcohol, and then the wood comes in, and then gets fruity again, and it just changes constantly. I've had whiskeys before where I kind of relax and just calm down. And this kind of makes me hyperactive. This really just gets me going because so much is happening at once. And that's what I really, really do not enjoy a lot about this. It's a B minus, which is a fairly good score to be honest. It's almost a B if it didn't make me hyperactive. I really don't want that in my whiskey. Value for money, anything above $300, I'm gonna D this, a D minus. I'm not gonna fail it, but this is something. Okay, 162 bottles. If you're not in Germany, you're not gonna get your hands on this anyways. It was 2006. I think there are three bottles left for sale online presently. Because they were so expensive, they were not flying off the shelves as you can imagine. And it's a 24-year-old Irish whiskey. I mean, who's got their hands on something like that? Hardly anyone, especially now since Teeling has canceled their barrel program. So they're actually just doing it themselves. And I don't think it would be actually possible in 2018 and further on to actually get your hands on a barrel for a Whisky Fair single cask collection. All right, so B minus, D minus for the value for money. Very, very interesting whiskey. As I said, your whole aroma spectrum and your whole taste spectrum almost everywhere. Even a tiny little bit of peat in there, which makes this very, very interesting, but a little bit too chaotic for me. Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American living in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. My question of the day is, what is your favorite Teeling expression? So I'm just going to pull up this at the moment. Brabazon Series Number 1, the sherry cask finish. The sherry cask actually bottling. Some of it was finished, some of it was actually matured the entire time in sherry casks. And this was matured, exactly, it was all matured the whole time in sherry casks. Very, very nice. I really like this. This was very, very nice. What's your favorite? Please write it down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my videos come out. Whiskey Jason tasting rare and exotic stuff. 162 bottles of this total. What can I say? Thank you. Bye-bye.